Let's talk about leadership. It's a word we hear all the time, right? In business, in sports, everywhere. But what does it actually mean? If you've ever felt like that question is a little slippery, a little vague, you are definitely not alone. Well, today, we're going to cut through all that noise and get some real clarity.
You see, the big problem is that leadership often feels like this giant puzzle where a bunch of the pieces are missing. Think about it. Everyone has their own idea of what it is. Your first manager, your favorite coach, that CEO you admire, they all see it a little differently. And that leaves the rest of us with this fragmented, confusing picture when we're trying to figure out how to become one.
So it all boils down to this one massive question that kind of follows us around our entire careers. What really is leadership? And it turns out we're not the only ones asking. The academic world has been wrestling with this for a very, very long time.
And when I say a long time, I mean it. Get this. Researchers have published over 26,000 articles just trying to nail down a definition for leadership. And honestly, that huge number is part of the problem. With thousands of different viewpoints, it's no wonder we're all confused. This whole situation led a couple of researchers, Winston and Patterson, to come up with a really brilliant analogy.
They said it's just like that old story about the blind men and the elephant. You know, the one where one guy touches the trunk and says, "Oh, an elephant is like a snake." And another one feels the leg and says, "Nope, it's like a tree." Now, they're all right about the part they're feeling, but none of them can see the whole animal. And that's exactly what most definitions of leadership do. They just give you one piece of the puzzle.
So Winston and Patterson decided to go on a quest to find the whole elephant. Their idea was, instead of just adding one more little description to the pile, what if they could gather up all the existing pieces and finally assemble a complete, integrated picture of what leadership actually is? And their process was, well, massive. First, they reviewed over 160 different sources. From those, they pulled out more than 1,000 different statements about leadership. Then, they painstakingly categorized all of that data into 91 distinct dimensions, basically all the different parts of the elephant. And from there, they started putting it all together.
Okay, and this is where it gets really good. Because after all that work, they were finally able to reveal the whole elephant, a single, comprehensive definition that connects all those scattered dots. So let's break down what they found piece by piece. So first things first, leadership isn't a job title. It's not a spot on the org chart. At its absolute core, it is a process. And more specifically, it's a process of influence. It's about inspiring people to move towards a goal, not by ordering them around, but by truly connecting with them. Okay, so how does that influence actually work? Well, the next crucial piece is vision. A leader paints a really compelling picture of a better future. The researchers call it a prophetic vision, which sounds intense, but it's not about telling the future. It's about describing what could be so clearly and so passionately that other people can see it too. And here's the final critical component: ethics. This influence can't be for selfish reasons. It has to be for the greater good. And look who benefits. It's everybody. The follower gets to grow, the organization hits its goals, and the leader develops too. Real leadership isn't a zero-sum game. It's a win-win-win. So when you put it all together, this is what you get. Integrative leadership is a process where a leader influences followers to willingly achieve a shared mission. And how? By communicating an ethical vision that helps everyone involved grow. This right here, this is the whole elephant. It ties influence, vision, ethics, and mutual growth into one powerful, complete idea. Okay, so that's the what. It's a great definition. But what does a leader like this actually do day to day? A definition is one thing, but we need a practical blueprint. So let's look at the core actions that bring this whole idea to life. This table basically gives us that blueprint. First up, great leaders are obsessed with follower development. They find the right people, and then they equip, train, and empower them to be amazing. And it all starts with listening. Second, they provide vision and direction. They are constantly talking about that inspiring future, and they're not afraid to challenge how things are done now, using great storytelling to make the vision feel real. And finally, they focus on organizational health. That means building trust, encouraging new ideas, and communicating with total clarity and consistency. But here's the thing. All those actions have to be built on a set of foundational values. These 7 traits are the bedrock of it all. Things like humility, which the researchers called teachableness, a genuine concern for other people, and a disciplined focus on the mission.
Without these values, all those actions just feel hollow. With them, a leader's influence is authentic and built to last. So here's the point of all this. Once you stop looking at just the trunk or the tail and you finally see the whole elephant, your entire perspective on what leadership is has to change. It just opens up a totally new way of thinking about your own journey.
This is really the big shift. We move away from that old kind of simplistic view that leadership is just a title on your business card, that it's all about authority, and we move to this much richer, more powerful view. Leadership is a process that anyone can engage in. It's about influence, not authority. It's about developing people, not just telling them what to do. It's a way of being, not just a job you have. And that really just leaves us with one last, powerful question for you. Now that you can see the whole elephant, what's your first step? How are you going to start putting even a small piece of this into practice? Maybe even today. Your leadership journey can start right now.